Hello. Today we're going to be talking about vision boards and how to create one. And if you've never done this before, you're in for quite a treat, as this can be a very powerful tool for bringing into our lives the things that we want to attain. Now, vision boards have been around for a long time. They've been called a lot of different things. Most recently, we've seen them in The Secret and such, but they're nothing really new, and they're nothing scary or magical or strange about them. Actually, it has its basis in a therapeutic art exercise, and this has been around for a long time. We know that images and symbols are very powerful and have been used for hundreds and thousands of years, actually. And so this is just one way in which we can tap into the unconscious and really attain the things that we want in a way that is powerful and effective. Now, the first thing you might notice is that people go about collecting images, and they can get these images from many sources. Some people will get them from magazines, books, texts, or print. For many people, works really well. Also, photographs. You can use your own photograph. Actually, the more specific you are about what you want and your intent, your clarity on that, the easier it is actually to attain those things or bring those things to you. The first step that is required is to get yourself a board or some kind of poster board. It doesn't actually have to be a board. We hear a lot about it has to be a certain size, or that you have to do it a certain way. This is actually the furthest thing from the truth. A vision board is a vision for your life, and nobody can really tell you how your life should look. So the first thing I would like to say is that there is no right or wrong way to do this, okay? They've been done many different ways, and they can all be effective. Traditionally, though, at least from the therapeutic art activities that I have done, we use a board or poster board just for convenience. And the idea is to place these images that you've collected onto the board in a way that makes sense to you. Some people like to overlap these images. Other people like to create a lot of space in between the images, known as negative space in the art world. Some people like to have a border. Some don't want a border. All of these are fine. Also, the color of the paper that you use is strictly up to you. If you decide you want white, that is fine. Some people like to use black or even different colors. I've seen neon. You could actually use a board if you wanted to. If you plan to frame it or keep it in a place that is near where you will wake, or in a place that you will see it often. A lot of people like to meditate on these boards, and so you may want to do something that is going to sustain a little bit of time, maybe even something that you might frame. So that's something to consider when you're actually building your board, or constructing your board, I should say. So the first step is to collect the images, obviously. I like to tell people that when they're creating these boards to go through the magazines and really just rip or cut with reckless abandon. And I say this because, one, it should be fun. It should be very fun. I mean, if you're thinking too much about it, or you feel like this is just, you're not sure how to do it, then you're probably you're thinking too much. And one of the ideas about this board is that it should be really circumventing the left side of the brain, or the analytical side, the logical side, the judging side, the critical side. And we really want to tap into the right side of the brain, which is the part of the brain that is most involved with the intuition and the creativity. And this is the side that is not judging, is just really acting from a sort of intuitive place. So this is the side that you really want to tap into. Now, once you have your images, I give people usually in a group activity, we probably do this and maybe rip or cut for about 15 minutes. And if, of course, if you're doing this on your own, you could spend hours or days, even weeks finding the images. But the idea is to actually complete this board within a certain framework of time that is appropriate to what you're working on at that time. Once you have the images, the second part of the process is really to start to arrange these objects on the board in a way that is specific to your life, that makes sense for you. Okay? And again, there's no right or wrong. You can put them anywhere. You know, if you feel like your picture needs to go, you know, to a place in Africa, then that's fine. The other thing is, while you're doing this, is not to censor or judge yourself. You may be attracted to an object or symbol or a word for a reason that you don't even really understand or know, and that's fine. When you have that image, I would just keep that image. That's definitely a keeper. You're really tapping into that part of yourself that is more knowing and kind of, it may not be conscious, so it may be something that you actually are passionate about that you haven't thought about in a long time. And this is something you want to add in your board. Okay, so, and you always have the option to throw them out. You know, I tell everybody you don't have to use every single image that you pull out, and you may put some in that you didn't realize that you were attracted to. I've had this with boards that I've created where there was a part that I didn't understand. I put it in, later it became very clear what that part was in my life. And so just go ahead and put that in. So the second part, which could take the next 15 to 20 minutes, which is to actually place them on the board. And at this point, you're cutting them, trimming them, and just kind of arranging them. You're not gluing anything yet because you're not sure where they need to go. So you spend about the next 15 minutes just arranging. Now, for the last part, last 15 minutes or so, what you're going to do is actually start to glue the items on the board. So spend your time, and you can, you know, take your time doing this. Some people like to use glue stick. Other people like to use rubber cement. It's very nice as it doesn't create a wrinkle in the paper, but it also has, you need to be in a well ventilated place. It does have a stronger smell and odor than the glue sticks that are available now. Glue sticks are generally more safe, less toxic, and easier. So it just depends how much you want to get into it. Once you have this all set out and glued, you're ready to begin looking at your board. I recommend in the morning when you get up to look at it and meditate on it for about 5 to 15 minutes, and then before you go to bed for about 5 to 15 minutes. Now the reason for this is that when we wake up, we're kind of in that hypnagogic state, which is between waking and sleeping, and same when we're about to go to sleep. And we can very easily tap into that subconscious mind, and this is a good time to really put in action the things that we want. And it's basically giving the brain the message that this is something that I'm wanting to accomplish, this is something I'm trying to solve, this is something that I'm wanting to attract into my life. This is a very powerful technique, and it has been used for a very long time with a lot of success, and I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to begin to change their life in very drastic and powerful ways. Okay, I hope this has been helpful for you, and that's all I have for you right now. I'll do more if there are questions or anything of that nature. There's a lot that I probably left out. This is all ad lib, and we're just trying to give you some information about that. I know there's a lot of information out there that is, there's a lot of information, and so hopefully this adds to your knowledge.